Hi, I'm Chris Maragakis of Simply Be Retreats and Therapies. I'm a life coach, therapist and podcaster. Welcome to Mindful Mutterings. Please like, share and subscribe. And as always, thanks for listening. Hi, thanks for joining me. And this week I thought I'd talk about retraining your brain. Most of the thoughts and behaviours that you will exhibit every day, you will not even be aware of. Research has suggested that approximately 90% of all the thoughts that we have every day are exactly the same as the one before. And so you can see how repetitive and entrenched in routines our lives become. Now, the brain is made up of neural pathways which control our bodily functions, actions, emotions, and thoughts. And they do this by passing information from one neuron to another. And if you listen to the podcast on affirmations, you'll probably already be aware of this. But for those of you that haven't, it's then thought that there are 1 trillion neural pathways in the brain. And neural pathways become stronger the more times an instruction or an action is repeated. For example, if you tell yourself that you are lazy, a neural pathway is created to relay that information. The more times that you have that thought, the stronger the pathway becomes. It then becomes an intrinsic belief. Now, these pathways are then reinforced when you say these beliefs out loud, and even stronger when you identify with them. And the fact that you are saying I am means that you are taking that into your identity, and it is a declaration. So saying something like I am lazy not only declares it to the world, but it also sets you up as how you see yourself. And then what it also does is it gives other people permission to see you in the same way, or worse still, define you when they are talking about you to other people that you might not have even met yet. And so you can see how this creates an energetic feedback loop, which then impacts on how you live your life, how you see yourself, and the limiting beliefs that you install upon your potential. And this can have far-reaching effects. So to change a neural pathway, essentially you have to overwrite the previous instruction with a stronger new instruction. And as before, the more they're repeated, the quicker the belief becomes an automatic part of our subconscious. It becomes an automatic response. So we don't have to think about it. And this becomes our new triggered action. Only this time we've chosen the belief that we're going to be triggered into acting out on. And it's one that will help us to move forward in life. So it can take between 3 weeks and 6 months to change a belief or a behaviour, but typically takes 6 to 8 weeks. So now that we have all this knowledge about how our brain works and where our beliefs are stored, and we know what we want to change, we need to work out how we're going to do that. So the first thing, always, is be mindful. Everything always comes back to this, because if we're not aware of our thoughts and behaviours, then they remain in our subconscious and they're sabotaging our opportunities, and we can't work out why. We don't know. So we always need to be aware of what we're thinking, how we're behaving, what we're saying, and the outcome that that's having on our life. Next one is to be grateful. We live in a society where we are trained to look at what we don't have in life, and then we're told that if we achieve this or we obtain this, we will be happier or we will feel more worthy. This is not true. No one else can give you these things. No one can make you feel happy. No one can make you feel sad. No one can make you feel worthy. And certainly no possession can bring it either. You may have a fleeting happiness once you've obtained something or once you've done something, but it won't last. It's not sustainable, because deep down you don't believe it. And that's why the only way that you can be happy, or the only way that you can feel worthy, is to work on yourself, because it has to come from within. So instead of wanting what you don't have, which causes you to feel that you need to strive for something or that you're lacking in some way, start being grateful for what you do have. Because what happens then is your mindset changes. So when you're negative, it produces negative chemicals. You're looking for more negative things. You're sending out a vibration of negativity, and therefore you're attracting more negativity into your life, or lack into your life. And then when you change that and you start to cultivate an attitude of gratitude, then what happens is your chemicals that you're producing become more positive. You start to look for more positivity in your life. The more positivity you find, the more you become aware of more things that are around you that you can be happy about. And you start to change your mindset, and your outlook on life changes. And what this does is it raises your energy vibration. And when that happens, we start to feel so much better. And when our vibration is high, life flows smoother. We can problem solve easier. We can manifest quicker, and life just becomes completely different. So if you're really struggling to think of something that you can be positive about, start small. You know, be grateful maybe for whatever you're listening to this on, or maybe you've got a roof over your head, or maybe you're lucky enough to be able to afford your electricity, or you've got running water. Start small and then build up, you know. And you can find out more about these in episode 12 of this podcast, where I talked about cultivating gratitude. And then spend more time in nature. We've become disconnected from our environment, and our subconscious knows this. And what happens then is this causes a feeling of meh, you know, like we just kind of feel like something's off. And then what can happen is that then builds that feeling of off, and that becomes more of discontent, and discontent becomes depression, and we don't want this. So when we spend time in nature, we connect with the energy around us, and then this helps our brain and our body to rebalance. This in turn then reduces the production of the negative hormones, which are really bad for our physical and mental health if we're suffering from them a long time, especially if we're suffering from stress or anxiety or depression. You know, our levels of negative chemicals in the brain then are really high, and they have a long-term impact on our physical and mental health. And when we spend time in nature, what this does is it allows us to relax a little bit, and it activates the parasympathetic system, which we do want, because that's our rest and repair process, and that's vital for our well-being. So spend more time in nature. And again, if it seems overwhelming to do that, start small. You know, maybe go for a walk, maybe have your morning coffee in the garden if you've got one, or maybe, you know, if you're lucky enough to be near water, maybe go for a walk near the river, or if you've got a beach, go sit on the beach for 10 minutes. Just start to find ways in which you can spend more time outside. And the more you do it, it's almost like the more addictive it becomes, because you start to realize actually that you've missed this, and this is what you need, and your body is kind of going, yep, I really like this helps me relax, this helps me heal. And so your brain feels so much better, and you can think clearer, and life doesn't seem so stressful. So definitely spend more time in nature. Probably one of the most important things is to get to know yourself. You know, we have this idea of who we are. We are fixed on our identity, and the thing is, nothing stays the same in this world. Everything changes, and that includes us. We're not the same person we were probably even last week, because we've had new experiences and we've learned new things, but we are definitely not the person we were 10 years ago. But we don't often allow ourselves to change, and we don't review who we are and what we want anymore, and so we become out of touch with who we are and what we want. So be really honest when you're asking yourself these questions, because if you're not, the only person that you're fooling is yourself. But really what you want to know is, who are you now, and what is it you want your life to look like, and how do you want to be? And then when you've got a clear picture of this, you can then see where in your life you're in conflict with this, and then you can begin to make the change. You can use goal setting activities to help you plan your way forward, or, you know, you can start to look for support in things that you want, or maybe you just need to make small adjustments to feel more centered in your life. But what this does is, this proactive approach to managing your life and bringing yourself into alignment with who you really are, because the aim of everything is to be authentic, so that you're not having this added stress of trying to be something you're not, or trying to please everybody all the time. So this approach retrains your brain and then gets it on board to help you look for ways to have what you want. And this is vital, because obviously this helps you enormously, and life doesn't become such a struggle. And then pay attention to your emotions. So our thoughts create an emotional response in our body, and positive emotions are fantastic. Keep them coming. They make us feel good. They keep our energy high. And then this helps us to experience the joyful state that we are designed to live in. We're meant to be joyous, happy creatures. And this is brilliant for our well-being, brilliant for our health. Fantastic. However, negative emotions don't serve us, especially if we identify with them and we get stuck in them. What they're really there for is to bring our attention to the fact that something is off and we need to do something about it. So being mindfully aware of how we're feeling, and when a negative emotion arises, it's kind of questioning, well, where in the body do I feel this? Why am I feeling like this? What can I do to change it? And then you can start to move on. And this then obviously changes your mindset from a negative to a positive. And this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to retrain our brain to give us the best life that we can have, and open up the best opportunities for us. And then use mindfulness and wellbeing tools to help you keep you focused. Journaling, affirmations, visualizations, vision boards, meditation, relaxation. All of this will help to retrain your brain to move from a negative or unhelpful mindset to a powerful and empowering one. Because all these tools do is they help you to stay present, they help you to keep being mindful, they give you tools and strategies to focus on what it is that you want in life rather than what you don't want. And they give the brain space to create something different. And obviously when we relax, like I said earlier, we in the podcast on affirmations, when we're relaxed and we're not engaging the analytical brain, that is when we're in our creator mode, and that is when we have the most opportunity to change things. My advice would be, don't try to work on too many things at once. Identify the one thing that has the most damaging impact on your life and start working on that. And then the thing that will make this whole process smoother is when you accept that this is part of yourself and acknowledge that you are exactly where you're meant to be right now. Okay, so that whatever you identify that you don't like, it's not a negative. We're now being positive about everything, because what we're actually creating is opportunities to be more. So once you identify something, just accept that this is how you are today. This is exactly where you're meant to be. And then be grateful for the fact that you've become aware of it, because now is clearly the time to work on it. And we know that now is the time to work on it because it's happening right now, because it's come into our consciousness, and we cannot argue with reality. So then you use all the tips above, give yourself time and space to work on bringing about the changes that you want to see. And that's how we retrain our brain. So I hope you found this really helpful. As always, you can contact me via my website, simplybe.org.uk, if you have any questions, or maybe you feel that you want to start your coaching journey. I'd love to hear from you, but whatever you do this week, take care of you. Bye.